everyone, welcome to yoga. I'm Carlyn. Today's class is a strengthen and stretch class. So we'll do a balance between postures that will strengthen the muscles and mix that in with some pretty deep stretches. We don't need any props for class, and we're going to start in a hero's pose. So I'll see you on your mat when you're ready. So for hero's pose, you'll want your knees together and your feet a little bit wider than your hips, with the tops of your feet pressing into the ground. And then when you sit down, you're just gonna sit the hips right between the heels, and the heels will come right outside of the hips. And this is gonna be a pretty intense stretch, not just for the tops of the feet, but also for the quadriceps. And if you start to settle in here and you find any discomfort or pain in the knee joint or anywhere else in the legs or the feet, you can always bring the feet together and sit up on your heels instead. That should feel a little bit more comfortable. But if your body feels like hero's pose will work for you, go there now. Just rest your hands on your thighs. And we'll start by taking 5 deep breaths. Breathing in deeply through the nose and exhaling out the mouth. 2. 3. 4. And for this last breath, breathe in through the nose and pause at the top. Hold the breath. Allow the belly, the body to fill up with breath. And see if you can sip in just a little bit more air. And then exhale, sigh it out. Blink the eyes open. We're going to tuck the toes, bring the feet a little bit closer together, about hips distance, and sit the seat back on the heels. So you'll feel a nice stretch in the toes, the tops of the feet, the ankle joints. And then from here, you're gonna just bring your hands to prayer. And I'm gonna move this way for this pose. And just settle in here. Continue to breathe. You can keep the eyes closed or open them, whatever feels better. We're gonna stretch out the wrists and the forearms. So pressing the hands together, start to press the heels of the hands down towards the thighs. You wanna keep the heels of the hands touching, so you don't wanna separate them like this. So you're not gonna go very far. And as you're focusing on pressing the heels of the hands down to the thighs, think about pressing your elbows up, but keep your shoulders relaxed. And this should be a nice stretch in the wrists and the forearms. Breathe here. And then when you're ready, come back to neutral, so the hands just come to heart center. Again, keeping the hands pressed together. Press the left hand into the right, and let that right elbow jut out to the right side. You'll feel this stretch all the way probably up to your right elbow. Breathe here. This can be pretty intense, especially if you haven't stretched the wrists and the arms in a while. And you'll also feel some intensity building in the feet and the ankles. So just stick with it. Keep the breath going. And then take it to the other side. Press the right hand into the left. That left elbow juts out to the side. We're keeping our shoulders square here, so we're not twisting to the left. We're just pressing out to the left. Breathing here, feeling that stretch all the way up to the left elbow. And then coming back through center. And once more, pressing the heels of the hand down to the mat. Breathing here. My feet are starting to get a little bit uncomfy with this deep stretch. And when you're ready, just come to a tabletop position. I'm gonna take a couple breaths here just to knock the tops of the feet into the mat. Stretch it out, find some movement. And then I'll stack my knees underneath my hips, my wrists underneath my elbows. And I'll find a couple rounds of cat-cow, dropping the belly, lifting the gaze, maybe finding some hip circles. And then tucking the chin, rounding the spine, pressing the ground away from me. Nice deep stretch. Keep moving here. Just another round or two. Then we'll move into some core work. So find yourself back at center. Press that left foot back behind you, almost like you're going into a high plank. And just take some rocks back and forth. Again, here we're stretching out the wrists. We're also stretching out the back of the left leg. So as you press that left heel, imagine you're pressing it into a wall behind you, and you'll really feel the calf start to lengthen. When you're ready, come back to center, shoulders over wrists, and keeping the hips square down to the ground, pull the belly button in and up, and lift that left leg just up to hip height. Press firmly into the left hand and reach the right arm long in front of you. Activate the core here. Take an inhale, lengthen the fingers and the toes away from each other, and then on your exhale, crunch the elbow to the knee. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, crunch. Moving a little bit slower than you want to, really challenging the core. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, crunch. We'll find one more crunch. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, crunch. And then inhale, lengthen and hold. And start to pulse the thumb and the heel up to the sky. For 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, on 1. Listen closely, drop the left knee back down. Reach the right fingertips up to the sky, twisting open. Take a deep inhale here. And then thread that right arm underneath the left. Come down to the right shoulder, the right ear. Breathe into the right shoulder, creating space in the upper back. Pulling the left hip back. If your body's ready for more, you can always walk the left fingertips out in front of you. And in between the work, just breathe in this nice stretch. 2 more here. When you're ready, walk those left fingertips back in towards the face. Press into the left hand. Reach the right fingertips up to the sky. And then come back to your tabletop position. And we'll take that to the other side. So taking that right leg behind you, taking some rocks back and forth. Again, imagine you're pressing that right heel into a wall behind you, finding length in the right calf. And after a little bit of movement here, we'll come back through center, lift that right leg just up to hip height, keep the hips squared down to the ground. Press firmly into the right hand and reach the left fingertips out in front of you. Take an inhale, reach the fingers and the toes away from one another. And on your exhale, crunch the elbow to the knee. Inhale, lengthen nice and slow. Exhale, crunch. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, crunch. Inhale, lengthen. Crunch one more time. Inhale, lengthen. And pulse for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, on 1, drop the right knee, lift the left fingertips up to the sky, twisting open. And then thread that left arm underneath the right. Come down to the left shoulder, the left ear. Pull the right hip back and send your breath into the left shoulder, creating space. Option to walk the right fingertips out in front of you, deepening the stretch. Breathing here. And as you're ready, start to walk the right hand back in towards the face. Press into the right hand, lift the left fingertips up to the sky. And then come back down to your tabletop position. Walk the hands slightly forward of the shoulders. Spread the fingertips wide. Tuck the toes, lift the hips. Find your first downward facing dog. And take a little bit of time to move intuitively here. So maybe that's just some little pulses of the heels towards the ground. Maybe that's a deep bend into one knee and then the other. Possibly both knees at the same time. Do whatever feels good. And focus on pressing firmly into the fingertips, relaxing the shoulders, pressing the heels down to the ground. They don't have to touch. And lifting the hips up to the sky. Just a couple breaths here. And then come to stillness in your downward facing dog. Finding lots of length in the back body. Tucking the chin ever so slightly to the chest. And when you're ready, bend your knees, take your gaze to your hands, and tiptoe your feet all the way to the top of the mat. When you arrive, bending the knees generously and finding a rag doll, grabbing opposite elbows, and just taking some time to sway side to side. For more space in your shoulders and the back of the neck, interlace the hands, bring them to the base of the skull, and pull the elbows together by the forehead. You'll feel the upper back really open up, the back of the neck lengthen. When you're ready, reach the fingertips back down to the ground. Tuck the chin to the chest, bend the knees, and slowly roll up to standing, one vertebrae at a time. When you arrive, we'll move through one round of Sun B. So bringing the big toes to touch, little gap in the heels, about the size of a small piece of cheesecake. Squeeze the inner thighs together, pull the belly button in and up, tuck the tailbone down, reach the fingers up to the sky, and sink the hips back like you're sitting in a chair. So make sure you can see all 10 of your toes, and if any of them are covered by your knees, just take more weight into your heels, sinking down even further. If the neck says it's okay, you can take your gaze rather up to your fingertips. We're gonna hold this first chair for 5, 4, 3, 2, on 1, fold forward, straightening the legs. Take an inhale, look up halfway, bring the fingertips to the shins, lengthen the spine, tailbone and head reach in opposite directions, and then find your high plank pose. From your high plank, you can drop the knees if you'd like, or just lower all the way down to the ground. Untucking the toes, inhaling for your baby cobra, and exhale back to your downward facing dog. When you arrive in your downward dog, take an inhale, lift the right leg just up to hip height, doesn't have to be super high, And then pull that right knee in towards the nose and step it in between the hands, finding a warrior one. So the left foot plants down and the left toes face the top left corner of the mat. Inhale to rise. We'll stay in this first one for a couple breaths. Think about pulling the right hip back, the left hip forward. Breathing, relaxing the shoulders. Finding strength in this warrior one pose, but also getting a nice deep stretch in that left hip flexor. One more breath here. Stay for another inhale, and then step the hands to the frame of the right foot. Come back to your high plank. Again, option to drop the knees or just lower all the way down to the belly. Untuck the toes. Inhale, baby cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. We'll take that to the other side. Inhale, lift the left leg up to the sky. Exhale, step it through. Right foot plants down, toes face the top right corner of the mat. Inhale to rise, warrior one. Settling in, pulling left hip back and right hip forward. Relaxing the shoulders. Everybody needs that reminder. And just breathing. Take one more inhale. And on your exhale, plant the hands, step right back to your high plank. Option to drop the knees or lower all the way down to the belly. Inhale, baby cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Take 3 breaths in your down dog. Maybe you take this opportunity to sigh the breath out the mouth, releasing some heat that's starting to build in the body. One more breath here. And when you're ready, bend the knees, look to the top of the mat, walk or jump your feet to your hands, bring the big toes together. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold, knees can bend here. And then inhale, find your chair pose again. Take a breath here. We're gonna move through one more round of sun B, but this time we're gonna move with the breath. Starting here, take your inhale. Exhale, fold. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, plank. Take an inhale here. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, down dog. Inhale, right leg lifts. Exhale, right foot steps through. Inhale, rise, warrior one. Exhale, stay. Inhale here. Exhale, hands plant, high plank. Inhale here. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, down dog. Inhale, left leg lifts. Exhale, step it through. Inhale, rise, warrior one. Exhale, stay. Inhale here. Exhale, plank. Inhale. Exhale, lower. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, down dog. 3 breaths. So these moments in down dog, can always drop the knees, find a child's pose. Can take a moment to just sip water, wipe sweat. Just one more breath here. And when you're ready, bend the knees, look to the top of the mat. Walk or jump the feet to the hands, big toes touch. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold. Inhale, chair pose. Exhale, stand tall. We'll move into our first sequence. So separate the feet so they're hips width distance apart. It's going to be about the space of 2 of your own fists. So similar to our chair pose, this time we're going to bring the right knee into the chest. You can flex the foot, point the toe, roll out the ankle here, and then eventually find a flex in your right foot. Open up that right knee, that right hip, and bring the right foot to the top of the left knee. So creating a figure 4 shape here. And then we're gonna sink back in our chair again. Bring the hands to heart center. This time in your chair, not only are you really activating the left glute, pressing into the left heel, you're also getting a deep stretch in the right hip. Breathing here. Two more breaths. Focus on something that's not moving. Find your balance. One more breath. And then press into the left foot. Bring the right knee back into the chest. And step the right foot all the way back for a crescent lunge. Nice and slow. Reach the fingertips up to the sky. Again, press into that right heel like you're pressing into the wall behind you. You might need to lengthen out your stance here like me. And then from here, bring your hands to your hips and drop that right knee so it hovers just above the ground. And then inhale, lift. Exhale, drop. Inhale, lift. Exhale, drop. Lift. Drop for 5. Lift. Drop for 4. Lift. Drop for 3. Lift. Drop for 2. Last one, lift, drop, and hold. One more breath here. Feel the heat build. And then drop that right knee completely, untuck the toe. Inhale, lift up for your low lunge. Bring your hands to heart center. Take an inhale, lengthen the spine. And as you exhale, twist to the right. Maybe you stay here, maybe you hook that right elbow outside of the left thigh. And from here, you can stay, or you can tuck the right toes and lift back up to your high twisted crescent lunge. Wherever you are, take one more breath. And then stay low, but come back to center. Airplane the arms, and we're gonna take off into a warrior 3. You should start to really be feeling this in your left glute. I'm gonna move back a little bit. Make sure you have plenty of space in front of you. And then with those airplane arms, you can stay here. I'm gonna drop my right hand down to the ground. We're gonna find those same crunches we found in the beginning of class. So reaching the left arm out in front of you. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, crunch. Much more of a challenge here. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, crunch. Woo. Again, inhale, lengthen. Exhale, crunch. One more, inhale, lengthen. Exhale, crunch. Inhale, lengthen. Drop the hands, standing split. I know the left leg is burning, but reach that right heel up to the ground just a little bit higher. Take a big breath in. And on your exhale, step the right foot forward to meet the left. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold. Maybe take a ragdoll here. Take a moment to release that left leg. Maybe send a little bit more weight into the right foot. Let the left leg be light. And then I'm gonna move back up to the top of my mat for the second side. So inhale, lengthen the spine. Bring the hands to the hips. and come all the way up to standing. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, sigh it out. When you're ready, feet hips distance apart, press into the right foot and lift that left knee into the chest. Again, point the toes, flex the foot, roll the ankle, whatever feels good. And then when you're ready, flex that left foot, open up the left knee and hip, and press that left foot on top of the right knee. From here, sink your seat down, figure 4, chair pose. Breathing here. Starting to activate the right glute by pressing into the right heel. Also starting to feel that deep stretch in the left hip. Two more breaths wherever you are. As you're ready, press the right heel down into the ground, come back up to standing, bringing the left knee into the chest with you. Ooh, losing my balance. And then start to send the left leg back, slowly stepping it all the way back to a crescent lunge. Reach the fingertips up to the sky. Breathing into your powerful lunge, relaxing the shoulders. And when you're ready, bring your hands to your hips. Lower that left knee just to hover, just a couple inches over the mat. Inhale to lift. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Lift. Lower. 5. Lift. Lower. 4. Lift. Lower. 3. Lift. Lower. 2. Lift. Lower. Hold. Breathing here. Let the heat build. And then drop the left knee, untuck the toes, finding your low lunge. If you want to widen it out just a little bit, you can, stretching out that right hip a little bit more. And then bring the hands to the heart, take an inhale, reach the crown of the head up to the sky. And on your exhale, twist, hooking that left elbow outside of the right thigh, maybe taking your gaze over your right shoulder. Take a moment here, let the breath slow down. And then when you're ready, if you want, you can tuck the left toes and come back up to your high lunge in this twist. Last breath here. And then as you're ready, come back through center, but stay low. Airplane the arms and take off into your warrior 3. Now again, I'm gonna take it back so I have enough space. You know where we're headed. Keeping those airplane arms. You can stay here. This is probably quite enough heat building in that right leg, enough of a challenge for your core. If you want, take the left hand down towards the ground, reach the right fingertips out in front of you. Take an inhale to lengthen. Exhale, crunch. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, crunch. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, crunch. Last crunch here. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, crunch. Inhale, lengthen. Standing split. Right glute, right leg are burning. Stay here for another moment. Lift the left heel a little bit higher. And then when you're ready, step that left foot forward to meet the right. Take an inhale, lengthen the spine. Exhale, fold, maybe find a rag doll. I'm gonna make my way back to the top of the mat. Taking some rock side to side here. And then when you're ready, reach the fingertips back down to the ground. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold. Step back to your high plank. Again, you can drop the knees or lower all the way down to the ground. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, down dog. Breathing here. On your next inhale, lift the right leg up to the sky. Exhale, step the right foot outside of the right hand. Staying in your high lizard pose here. Keep breathing. I'll take one more little challenge for the legs on this side. Maybe you stay here. Maybe you start to walk the left hand out. Maybe you walk the right arm underneath the right leg and out to the outside of the right foot. You can stay here, or maybe you fly the arms out like a bird. Maybe you find a bind. Wherever you are, we'll hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, on 1, unwind, plant the hands, and start to heel toe that right foot over to the right wrist, setting up for pigeon pose. Take as much of a bend in the right knee as you need to, bringing that heel in towards the center of the body. Maybe you tuck the left toes, send those hips back just a little bit, and then untuck them again. Whenever you're ready, you'll fold forward, finding your resting pigeon pose. I know my legs today are feeling a lot tighter than normal. So just reminding yourself that you don't need to go to the same edge that you typically go to. Your edge is different every day. So find that place where you can really feel the stretch. And just breathe there. No requirements here about where you need to be, what you need to do. As long as you're breathing and you're feeling, you're good where you are. As you settle in and continue to breathe in this pigeon pose, you might start to go deeper. And remember that going deeper doesn't have to be physical. It doesn't have to be bringing the chest down to the ground. Sometimes deeper can be mental. Can be consciously making your breaths a little bit longer. It can be letting go of thoughts, focusing on the present moment. Just another breath or two here. And when this side feels complete in your body, start to walk the hands into the center of the body, coming upright in your pigeon pose, and then sending all of your weight into your right hip. And you're gonna bring your left leg on top of your right, bending at the left knee. So I'm actually gonna face this way for this one. So you can find Gomukhasana legs bending at both of the knees, stacking the left knee on top of the right. If this feels like a little too much, you can always straighten the right leg out in front of you. This might feel a little bit more comfortable. So wherever you are, whether both knees are bent or just one, just breathe here. This is, again, a really intense stretch for the hips. And we just worked the hips a lot in our standing poses. So they might be feeling really tight from all that contraction. You can stay here. This is probably enough. If you want more, if your body is asking for more, you can always start to walk the fingertips forward and fold. Whether both knees are bent or one, this is an option. Maybe you just round gently through the neck, tucking the chin to the chest. Nice, even, steady breaths will get you through this. And if you folded forward, start to come back to upright, keeping the legs as they are. Take the right hand outside of the right hip and reach the left arm up and over the head, finding a side body stretch. Maybe you spiral that left pinky down, opening up the heart. One more breath here. And then we'll take that to the other side. Bring the left hand outside of the left hip. Right arm comes up and over the head. One more breath here. We're going to take this and turn it into a twist. So wherever you are, that right forearm is going to come outside of the left thigh. You're going to bring the left fingertips behind you and gently twist to the left. Taking your gaze over your left shoulder if it's comfortable in the neck. And as you breathe, each inhale lengthens the spine. Each exhale twists you just a little bit deeper. And use that press of the forearm into the thigh to deepen your twist even more. One more breath. And then slowly unwind. You're facing the top of the mat. I'm going to quickly face the top of the mat and just step right back to your downward facing dog. Of course, if you want a vinyasa, you are more than welcome to take it. Let's take that to the other side. Inhale, lift the left leg up to the sky. Exhale, step the left foot outside of the left hand. Staying high in your lizard lunge here, maybe taking some rocks. You know what's coming, so start to prepare the legs. This is the last deep strengthening posture that we'll take on this side. When you're ready, if you want, you can walk the right fingertips out. They'll come off of the mat. And then maybe you walk the left fingertips underneath the left leg, again, bringing them to the outside of the mat as well. You can fly the arms, palms facing up like a bird, or you can find a bind. Wherever you are, breathe, stay strong for 5, 4, 3, 2, on 1, slowly unwind, plant the hands, and start to heel toe that left foot over to the right wrist, setting up for your pigeon pose. Take a moment to get set up here. And find what's right for you on this side. It doesn't have to be the same as the other side. Whenever you find that nice sweet spot where you can stretch, but you can also breathe, start to come forward into your resting pigeon pose. Maybe this side feels a little bit more open. Maybe it's a little bit tighter. Whatever it is, just notice, just acknowledge. There's no right or wrong. There's only what is. And that's different every day. As you settle in again, maybe you go deeper. Deeper doesn't have to be something that someone else can see. Just another breath or two on this side. And as you're ready, make your way back to upright, walking the hands into the center of the body, sending all of the weight into the left hip and bringing that right leg around, stacking the right knee on top of the left. I'm gonna face this direction. Again, if this feels like a little too much, you can take that left leg long in front of you, and that will ease some of the tension. If not, both legs are bent, right knee stacked on top of left. And again, you can stay here or you can fold forward. So on the last side, I folded forward. This side is feeling awfully tight today. So I'm feeling enough right here. I'm gonna stay upright and just breathe. If you did fold forward, start to make your way back to upright. And we'll find that side body stretch, taking the left hand outside of the left hip, right fingertips reach up and over the head. Maybe you open the heart. Keep pressing that right knee down. And then we'll take that to the other side. Right hand comes outside of the right hip, left fingertips up and over the head. Stretch it out, lengthen the left side body. And then we'll turn this into a twist, bringing that left forearm outside of the right thigh, right fingertips behind the back. Maybe your gaze comes over your right shoulder. You can keep the neck neutral, whatever feels better. Wherever you are, inhale to lengthen the spine, and exhale to twist the torso a little bit deeper. So we're not twisting through the neck, we're not twisting through the upper back. And when you're ready, slowly start to unwind. You're still facing the top of the mat. You're just gonna unwind the legs here. Bring them out in front of you. Hold the arms out in front of you like you're holding a beach ball, and slowly roll down onto your back. And when you arrive, find a happy baby. Hug the knees into the chest. Grab to the inside or the outside edges of the feet. Make sure that low back stays planted into the ground. Knees come in towards the armpits. And we can just find some playful movement here. Rocking side to side. If there's any other postures that you'd like to take to close out your practice, you can go there now. If not, Shavasana is there for you, your final resting pose. Whenever you're ready, taking the last minute or two of class to just bring the arms and the legs out long. Letting go of anything you might be holding on to. Notice if you're flexing any of the muscles and just let it go. Pay attention to those tiny muscles that we don't always focus our attention on. The muscles of the face. Relax the jaw. Remove the tongue from the roof of the mouth. Relax the fingers and the toes. Just let the back body sink into the mat. Any part of the body that's touching the mat, let it melt. Know that you're supported by the ground underneath you. And just take this next minute to rest. Start to take deeper breaths, allowing the belly and the chest to rise when you inhale, and just watching them softly fall as you exhale. Find some tiny movements in the body, wiggling through the fingertips and the toes, rolling out the wrists and the ankles. And when you're ready, hugging the knees into the chest and gently making your way up to a seated position. When you arrive, just resting the hands on the knees, taking a breath in through the nose and out through the mouth. Bring the hands to heart center. Thank you all for practicing with me. Namaste. Please subscribe to my channel and like this video for more free yoga. Let me know what you want to see next time, any poses, any parts of the body, any skills you want to work on, and I hope you have a wonderful week.